Welcome back, Prime Roasters. We have another great episode for you. We're going to be roasting our favorite politicians and late night show hosts as well, because they're saying really kind of weird stuff lately. I love that word "weird," by the way. Chris, when this election goes down in the history books, you're going to have. We're going to be recording words like weird, garbage, Hitler. We sound like a bunch of misfits that never graduated middle school, because these are the key words from election 2024. Everyone, it is the strangest election season I've ever been through. I saw Donald Trump this week at Mar-a-Lago. I will tell you, he is a changed man after 4 years of nonstop campaigning. I mean, this man has not had a day off in a very, very long time. And I feel for him, because I feel it. Like, I'm half his age and my body is in crumbles from election season and campaigning. And we're all still having fun. We're all like just running on the high of him becoming president next Tuesday. Fingers crossed. But we've got a lot to talk about here on the show. But I know Chris has set up some really, really weird.
No, not weird. See, weird's a good word now. Keep that in mind. Normal is boring. I don't want to be a normie. I prefer to be weird. I don't need a beard to be weird either. Ooh, that rhymes. I'm a poet, but I already know it.
Is a beard weird? Because I think every single guy I see is sporting a beard these days.
Well, apparently the neck beard is a uniform among the left at this point, but the J.D. Vance neat, clean beard, that's apparently weird to a lot of these people.
Wait, a neck beard is just like when you have a beard here?
No, that's that long hipster beard that that goes around the neck, because nobody feels like shaving around their neck. It's a matter of, again, I'm not even into that. But that's a different story for a different day. Some of those beards are neat. Some of them are scraggly and have something living in them, I believe.
Yeah, there's definitely food in that. No, not sexy, you guys. But yeah, no, it's November. We're in November, and we're just days away from the big moment. And I'm excited and scared at the same time. I think, I feel like there's good vibes in the air. We're coming to a close from a very, very divisive election season. So yeah, I think we're part of the problem as well, though, Chris.
Well, note you say election season. We used to have election day. Now it's election season. And that's already annoying in and of itself. And you have these people who pat themselves on the back because they voted. Yay, look at me, I voted. And you know what?
I do that.
I can't. I just can't do it, because I'll tell you what. Hey, I took one this morning. All right, where's my sticker? Okay.
They didn't give you a sticker? No, I had 2 stickers. But I only voted once. You guys don't come after me for that.
Maybe for each mail-in ballot or something.
No,
like that.
The election season has been 4 long years. That's high school, you guys. That's high school in the US, 4 years. So imagine going from freshman year to your senior year. We're here tomorrow.
Right.
On Tuesday, it's prom. And on the 20th of January, that's going to be your graduation date. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's certainly felt like high school because of all the characters we've had to deal with and all the name calling. And the whole thing was just so weird. Anyway, we should get to our first clip. I think we have Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, here's what happened. Well, let's cue this here. It's election season, and cue the stupid jokes that come out around there by these dumb comedians who think that Republicans are morons, and they decide to use the oldest, dumbest joke in the book. Which, by the way, I think Kimmel's material is kind of along that level anyway. So here's what he said.
Vote early, vote early. If you can't vote early, vote on time. If you want to vote for Trump, vote late, vote very late. So you're voting on Thursday or maybe Friday. This will be my 3rd time voting.
Okay. Now, did Jimmy Kimmel, in the midst of this joke, commit election fraud or election interference, if you will?
Well, he admitted on live TV that he's voted 3 times. Why would you say that? Is there a part 2 to this joke?
And he said, no, there's no real part 2 to this. Well, let's hear the rest of it.
We'll
go into what he said before this.
Against Donald Trump. 5th, if you count the 2 times he was nominated for an Emmy for a reality show host.
Yeah, see, he voted against him a couple extra times, blah, blah. And I'm sure he had a real vote for the Emmys anyway, but I'll get into that another time. That doesn't even matter. Here's my issue. Did Jimmy Kimmel commit some kind of election interference by telling Republicans to vote late, to vote on Wednesday or Thursday? Did he do that?
I got your message like right after you mentioned it. You're right. You can't go on FCC airwaves to tell people to vote when they can't vote. That is really strange. Now, will the FCC or the FEC or any of these bodies do anything about it? Probably not, because he is an entertainer, right?
Right,
So they're
right,
going to say,
exactly.
well, it was just a joke. Let it
Well,
go. Don't be such a Karen.
well, this didn't happen thanks to the Biden political prisoner taking administration. Winds up, there was another entertainer, Douglas Mackey, who he's one of those things called social media influencers, which,
Hmm.
by the way, is this generation's version of the life coach. There's one everywhere. They have no idea how to handle their own lives, but they're good at telling other people what to do.
I know. I know plenty of them.
Ah, so this life coach entertainer guy, Douglas Mackey, uh, and he was only 33. He makes a joke saying, "Well, Hillary voters can text in their votes." And
Hmm.
the Department of Justice went after him and arrested him. In fact, they bragged about it. Defendant attempted to trick voters into believing they could vote by text message. So they put him in
Wow.
jail. He was charged with interfering with the election. I'm just going to give it. And by the way, he called himself Ricky Vaughn. So you knew that was a joke name to begin with. So was he a comedian? Was he an entertainer? Or was he saying something seriously? And then there's that Christina Wong who did the same thing. I forgot what year it was, but she went on the internet with a video telling Republicans to vote late. But
Hmm.
she never got attacked. She never got thrown in jail. The problem is this, and this is what I believe at this point. I'm under the belief that these people know that, or the prosecutors, the people that are taking the prisoners here, know that Republican voters, Trump voters, will never fall for this garbage, but they're pretty sure that if these lefty voters will fall for anything that these lefties say, whether they flip flop or not, then they'll probably believe that they can vote by text message or can vote an extra day.
It certainly crosses the line, especially if you're spreading misinformation about voting. This is a really interesting question here because do you take these people seriously? Is really what we're talking about here. Are they entertainers? Are they there to make jokes, or are they there to suppress your vote? And I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I don't know even if a court would know how to answer that. Clearly, everyone's been given a platform to speak, but there has to cross the line because here's the thing, and this is my kind of overall platform anyway. If they said those exact words offline, right, that would be an actual crime. Because they're saying it online and on television, that may be protected under free speech. That is where I think we have a problem. I believe in free speech. I will fight for you to have free speech. But when you actually then, when it bleeds into committing a crime, no. And that's where I think the courts have to step in, and maybe where the DOJ has to step in. Look, in the case of when, what was it, Mackey, I guess, crossed the line using an alias and telling people that, Hillary voters can
But the
can vote.
alias was Ricky Vaughn, so it was
Okay.
made obvious. Ricky Vaughn. Ricky Vaughn
Yeah.
is the Charlie Sheen character on Major League. He was the Wild Thing.
Right.
That's
Right.
right. So, it was an obvious joke. By the way, they're all telling obvious jokes. I'm sure there are
Right.
morons who'll believe it, but that's on them.
Yeah, and you can't just expect I'm sorry, you can't expect voters to know that. So if you do have a megaphone and you're not responsible and you're not putting out authentic messages and sourced messages, then you may be liable. And I think a civil suit can come around doing this, but will the DOJ ultimately do anything? No, because we're seeing time and time again, and not just on late night television, but everywhere, where Republicans are being sought after. So one rule applies to us,
Rules
and
for
another
thee
rule
and not
applies to
for me.
them.
Yes, right.
And it's all about enforcement. And if they think that they can suppress you with their little bit of power, they're going to do it. And this is why, like, honestly, I can't wait for Trump to get in, because I don't think he's just going to be fair to one side of the party and also to one party and half of Americans. I think he's just going to go straight down the line and say, no, this is not the right thing to do, right? If we're going to
I think he's fine. I think he'd be fine with everybody. Just like, yeah, make your jokes or whatever else. Nothing. We're not going to be because you don't want to be the other guys. You don't want to be the guys that throw people in jail.
Yeah.
I have another election interference question for you. This is funny because I found this a little hilarious. Now, I know one of the people I interviewed a long time ago on my 80s show. I'm not going to mention her name. She's a very funny comedian. She's a great singer. And she's a great actress and producer and director. She's actually very good at what she does. But she posted her California ballot, bragging about herself doing early voting. And I noticed something very peculiar about it. She's in California. And I'm not going to post hers, but what I will do is put up the California ballot that Marjorie Taylor Greene posted. This is here. Now, these are the first 4 lines of the ballot. What do you think's missing?
I don't know. A glaring candidate, the front runner. Where is he? Is he anywhere on that ballot, or is he just on the very bottom? Because I've seen that as well.
That little arrow, you have to scroll down. I'm going to go back to this. In New York, generally the candidates in every 4 years, the gubernatorial race candidates, you have to be near the top. Well, it goes like this. The gubernatorial, the ballots are listed. The lineup is listed on the ballot, I should say, as far as order of candidates is whoever gets the most votes or whichever party gets the most votes first, then they're on the top line. Second line, third line, fourth line. And you have to meet a criteria of 50,000 votes, and everybody else falls behind after that. This is deliberately put together so people have to work a little harder to get the Donald Trump vote. So people see Kamala Harris, people see Robert F. Kennedy, Chase Oliver, and Jill Stein. They probably think, oh, maybe Trump's not on the ballot here. I'm sure somebody's going to spread some of that fake information here. The idea this is deliberately put together so one of the major candidates is not seen right at the front.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is California. But, so because I do a lot of campaigning, we're told when there's multiple candidates on a ballot, it's usually the top and the bottom. The candidates that are sandwiched barely ever get any attention. What pops is the top and the bottom. So, and especially if you have a very easy to recognize name, like a short name, no hyphens, nothing like that, right? So, yeah, look, is California going in Trump's favor anyway? If they're going to pull these silly high school stunts, go for it. It doesn't matter. We don't care. I know Trump wanted to win California. I know he was there for Coachella and he's done a few rallies there. The reality is that whole entire state is against him. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger came out against him this week. And it's just like, oh boy, you guys. I mean, like, don't you see the trends of Kamala Harris falling over the edge and you're still going to go support the loser? Okay, that's fine. You're going to put him on the bottom of the ballot as if we can't read and find him eventually. It's like people going to the polls know exactly who they're voting for. They're not still thinking, oh, well, I'm still wishy-washy. I don't believe in those 2% of independents who haven't already made up their minds, right? So yeah, play those games. But California, it's not, I can see maybe they're going to have a little bit of a dip of 0.005% where he's not on the top, so therefore he's not on the ballot.
Well,
come on.
Again, I just find it interesting, and this was done purposefully. This had to have been done purposefully. And yes, maybe that 0.05. Look, there's talk about Trump winning the popular vote, which is going to be a long shot. But let's say he doesn't win by that 0.05 you're talking about, as far as the popular vote. That's going to make a difference when it comes to the news media saying, "Oh, Trump didn't win the popular vote again." Anyway, we're a comedy show, so let's get into some of the funny stuff here. And there's nothing funnier than The View. Sometimes they provide us lots of laughs, and this time Rachel Maddow was I'm sorry, Mark Cuban was a guest.
He's a girl. Look at him. He's like with the girls there.
Yeah. Oh, he was a guest on The View this time out, and well, let's just say it's hilarious. Let's perhaps we take a nice look at this particular program. Let's hear the interview. Now they're all.
Sarah has the first question.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for being with us today. The election is less than a week away. You've been campaigning with the vice president. Where does this race stand, and who do you think is going to win?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Sarah? You dropped out.
Sure. The election's only a week away, so I know you've been campaigning with the vice president. We wanted to know where you think the state of the race is. Who do you think is going to win right now?
Oh, I think the vice president's going to win, obviously. I think, things have changed a lot since 20.
They're cheering. They're cheering, and he's all happy. The vice president's going to win. That's all him. He's like, oh, Harris is going to win. This is going to be perfect. And look at that big smile on his face, like, oh, and she's so hot.
I'm not even looking at the big smile on his face and his like bleached teeth. I'm looking at the private jet he's flying in. Okay. He is rolling with the VP, maybe Air Force Two, in a private jet telling you what you should do. Oh, great. Another one of those elitists. I mean, come on. And then, of course, you have a cheering crowd because he said one sentence. Oh, yeah, Kamala Harris is going to win. Well, that's nothing to cheer about, you guys. It's not like he said anything amazing.
It's The View. Let's watch some more of this. Look at that. He's played smile again.
I didn't hear what he said.
In 2016,
You heard the
in
important part.
2016, the 2016, the Trump voter was the silent voter, somewhat in the 2020 election, but now I think it's really switched. I think Elon taking over Twitter has emboldened Trump voters to get loud, to denigrate Harris voters, and that has really caused people to be quiet. And then you hear him say things like he did last night about women. I really think women are going to win this election for the vice president. I think.
Here's something funny. The Democrats every 4 years seem to think that they have every woman in the entire country is going to vote for them, because that's what they are. They're Democrats, and they say, well, we're for abortion. That means every woman's for abortion, on demand, by the way, and we're going to make sure. And because of that, every woman's going to vote Democrat. We own the women. That's what they think.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, forgetting the plantation, right? it's like, yeah, you better. And the best part is they shame you. If you're female, you don't vote for us. You're not female, or you're garbage. It's like, who's stuck in that mindset where if you shame us, that we're going to come vote for you now? I'm running away from you.
Apparently this guy is.
I think they'll come out in numbers. I think they'll, not listen to their husbands.
There's the cheering.
I think they're going to do the right thing and vote for the vice president.
Okay,
And not listen to their husbands.
2016. In 2016, you supported Trump for a little bit. Sorry about that. But then you saw the.
She still thinks she's funny. I mean, Joy Behar. Think about this. Bringing joy to the campaign. Is it joy, or joy meaning happiness, or joy meaning a louder version of Joy Behar or Joy Reid? Is that the kind of joy that Kamala Harris has brought to the campaign?
I think that's the only joy in Kamala Harris's campaign is this redhead comedian. Hey, look, she's making her name off Kamala Harris. Why not? Why not?
The error of your ways, and he is not happy with you now. He's calling you a loser. You're weak. You're pathetic. He says that once he stopped taking your calls, you went rogue. Is that really how it went down? Something tells me no. Your thoughts?
No. I mean, like, when he was president, I actually, he asked for help on PPE during the pandemic. I helped out all I could. He invited me to lunch, bring my kids, bring the family. Yeah. It didn't work out. But, the funniest part.
Sorry.
Who was what?
It's a technical disaster, by the way.
Because he's on a private jet. He's flying
like
in space in a can. I mean, of course they're not going to be able to communicate. I mean, they're doing a live show with him, and visuals mean everything, right? Is this aspirational, or is this like? Is Kamala Harris a middle-class woman? Really? I mean, the whole thing is just the wrong visual, the wrong message. Her whole press team, they don't get it. They really don't get it. Like I look at this and I'm thinking, oh, okay, so you're an elitist. You're trying to communicate with me with a billionaire on a private jet talking down at women. Okay, that makes me feel really good about myself. I'm going to vote for you. Come on.
Let's hear a little more of this.
You're supporting Kamala Harris. And turns out Donald Trump is not even asking Nikki Haley for her help to try to reach her voters. What do you make of that? And do you think having people like Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and other Republicans with Kamala Harris is going to put her over the edge with these Nikki Haley supporters?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it'll put her over the edge with Nikki Haley supporters. Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever.
Okay, there we go. That's the big one. So Mark Cuban says you never see Donald Trump around strong, intelligent women. I don't really see Kamala Harris around strong, intelligent women, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is hanging around Beyonce thinking that's a strong, intelligent woman.
Or
All
Lizzo.
right,
How about Lizzo? There you go. Is another one.
let's break this down.
And-
Mark Cuban just threw the female vote and the suburban female vote over to Donald Trump. Thank you very much. This is another garbage. This is another deplorable. Okay, you with your nose up in the air talking down at women right now, you just lost the female vote, Mark Cuban. You're doing exactly what Joe Biden did a few days ago by calling half of Americans garbage. You don't even understand how silly you sound. I would love to talk to him. If he's going to judge me and say, well, you're kind of dumb and weak, well, say it to my face. You're saying it to The View, to a bunch of women who you look at as what? They're strong, they're empowered, really, but not us. No, this is like misogynistic. This is like, they're saying all sorts of like the worst possible thing. I think Mark Cuban is actually dark MAGA. I think he's trying to throw this race for Donald Trump.
I'll think about it this way. These are people who still can't define what a woman is. The Biden administration pushed forth a Supreme Court justice nominee who's now a justice, by the way, who can't define what a woman is. So they're telling you that Trump doesn't hang around strong women. Oh, the problem is, how do they even know?
What do they define as one, they don't even know what a woman is. What is strong to them? Because right now, all I'm hearing, the whole Kamala Harris campaign has been one big therapy session, right? She's figuring out her life in live TV. She doesn't know what her messaging is. She doesn't know where to look. She doesn't know how to dress. She's wearing this awful brown color that does not exude power whatsoever. It exudes other things that I'm not going to call and say on this show, but it is just phenomenally bad, her campaign. And then to have Mark Cuban be her surrogate on a private jet talking down with his nose up at us, get out now. Go away.
Yeah,
jeez.
Oh, boy. And Mark, again, they don't even know what a woman is, okay? And he's telling you now that that Donald Trump does not hang around strong, intelligent women. First off, Nikki Haley is their definition of a strong, intelligent, not sure what a woman is, because they're not sure. She is campaigning for Donald Trump. Without evidence, they're saying he didn't ask, but she is campaigning for him. Yes. You have Tulsi Gabbard, who, in my opinion, is a strong, intelligent woman. So Mark Cuban is saying Tulsi Gabbard is not a strong, intelligent woman. Mark Cuban, the best response was from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who did the pull-ups.
Yes, I love it. Look, the girl can bench like 250, all right? And she's 51 years old. Let me ask Mark Cuban who he means exactly. I want you to name names of who he thinks is not strong and not intelligent that hangs around Trump. Exactly who does he mean? Because I don't think he can pull out one example. Anyone who can stand up to the media and to half the country wearing a MAGA hat and being strong and like not caring what other people say about them, not caring about the harassments and intimidations that we felt for the last 8 years for wearing a red hat and supporting Orange Man Bad. That's not strong? Are you kidding me? That is certainly not weak. Not when half the country is after you for believing in your own beliefs and standing up for yourself. Are you kidding me? Get this man out of here. Get him flying his private jet over to Bali. Like, just go that way. Just go away.
And think about it this way: the guy's trying to look like Rachel Maddow. Maybe that's why maybe that's his definition of a strong, intelligent woman. Somebody who looks like him.
All look like Rachel Maddow. Why do they all go for that like lesbian chic look? I mean, it's so 90s New York. It's past its prime. Guys, prime roasters, these guys are past their prime. They're stuck in a very 90s, early 2000s thinking with their like black turtlenecks and like their short cropped haircuts, no makeup, armpit hair, mustache. Like, bye. This is old. Let's bring in the new. Let's bring in the Trump.
That's right. And of course, Cuban, again, in the middle of his transition, keeps going.
It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them. And, Nikki Haley will call him on his nonsense with reproductive rights and how he sees and treats and talks about women. I mean,
that's another trope. I mean, again, that's the Democrat mantra. They seem to think, and they're trying to tell us all that Donald Trump is going to eliminate abortion. He's going to sponsor a national abortion ban, which he already said, no, the states have this now. This is what he wanted. This is what the Constitution has
the Supreme
has
Court
dictated.
ruled on.
Right. It's all done. This is what they're running on. They're running on this killing babies and a suggestion box from the Heritage Foundation.
I mean, he just can't have her around. It wouldn't work.
I think Stormy is intelligent. I don't think that's 100%. She's very smart.
Oh, Joy Behar thinks Stormy Daniels is intelligent.
Wow, she's
okay. Now that's
that
the
in
end all
there.
right there. Okay, now let's just pack it in. Joy said it, so that's it. It's all done. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue this both ways. I mean, Stormy Daniels has made a name for herself, I guess, and made some money off this. So if that's what they mean by extorting people, and that's smart, okay, Joy. Yeah, I mean, this is like, guys, these are Americans that live amongst us, right? They're literally evil. Right? They want to kill babies and extort people. And that's who they think are smart, strong, intelligent women. Oof.
Well, the clucking continues.
Yeah,
Stormy.
He means this like
but he
he
has power on stage.
Yeah,
and stuff
power
like
over.
that.
Well, let me
So-
ask you this, Mark. President Biden is getting some backlash for comments he made on a Zoom call with Latino voters where he allegedly referred to Trump supporters as garbage. Now, President Biden has clarified his comments, but Republicans and
No. President Biden walked back his comments, not clarified. Stop it. You're trying too hard.
Trump are trying to make this into a deplorables moment. At the same time, you have Trump now repeatedly calling America garbage and a garbage
No.
can. What is your reaction to this
What?
entire thing?
I mean,
Again,
Joe is no.
Again, that's right. She's putting words in Trump's mouth. I get this. All right. I get this is what they're doing. They're twisting around what he said. He has said some things about America being let's say having its troubles. And yes, because of the crime, because of the economy, because of the way the Barris administration ran things, that's technically he's not 100% wrong. But he never called people garbage.
No, well, he never did. He did have a ill-tongued comedian who might have said those words.
Right.
And then Joe Biden turned dark MAGA and flipped the script and gave it back to Trump. And Trump went onto a dumpster truck and drove it around. I mean, you can't have better retail politicking than that. I mean, it was super smart. It spun it on its head. And Trump won that round, Mark Cuban. He's driving a garbage truck. You're driving like your streamlined Boeing, whatever. I don't know private planes. That's a Tony question.
Yeah, that's right. Tony knows
you know?
about private planes. All right, let's hear how Cuban tries to help Harris and Biden out with this one because he's so smart.
Known for malapropisms, right? What they used to call malaprop Joe. He's done it many times, but the reality is, the hardcore Trump supporters are the hardcore Trump supporters. There's nobody changing hearts and minds because of what Joe Biden said. He is not running for president versus Donald Trump. Vice President Harris is the candidate. That's all that matters is what she says. I think it doesn't matter at all. Whether Joe misspoke or not, it really doesn't matter.
Okay, Mark, because you're the expert on the economy. People say that they are voting for Trump because they think he's a successful businessman. They think
Okay, hold on a second. Now, Mark Cuban is a very successful man. All right, we're going to give him that. That's great. But keep in mind, he kind of got lucky with it. He bought broadcast.com. but in the early days of the and just to put games on, which was a
Mhm.
good idea. I liked it.
Mhm.
But then the .com, I guess the whole craze went where people were buying overvaluing website names and everything like that.
Yep.
We sold that, and that's how he became an ultra gajillionaire.
Okay, good on him.
Right, right.
Those who lived through the .com era 2 times, made good money on it. I made a little money there too.
Cool.
It doesn't matter. He's auditioning for Secretary of the Treasury, right? Or Commerce, or one of the big cabinet seats.
Oh, let's hope
He's
not.
vying for that.
Yeah, keep him away from all that stuff. Here's Joy's question. She's holding up the Wall Street Journal like she's actually read it.
What they saw on the TV show The Apprentice is real life. They forget that he bankrupted his casino. Who does that?
Oh, bankruptcies are ways businesses try to find ways to start over again. They run into trouble, they go into bankruptcy, and unlike some businesses, no, they don't. Some recover, some don't. But he had his reasons for that. Look, businesses fail, and you're a businessman. You take risk. Any businessman will tell you that. But
Yeah.
again, this is what they're trying to focus on. Some of these things they never tell the whole story.
And he doesn't know how a tariff works. Can you please? And
He doesn't know how a tariff works. You're taking lessons from Kamala Harris about how tariffs work. You don't know how tariffs work.
Oh, see, look, Chris, did you realize the last few days of the election we would be defending Donald Trump and half of the US over these clowns? I mean, these clowns are having a good old laugh roasting Trump, and we're having a good old laugh roasting them roasting Trump.
Right.
It's like, do you see the parody in all of this? Like,
I
they
know.
are
They could roast
clowns.
us. They could roast us for roasting
Go
them,
for it.
roasting Trump. And this is funny because it can go, and it could be like that shampoo commercial where you tell 2 friends, and then they'll tell 2 friends, and then they'll tell 2 friends, and then so on and so on. But we have to roast each other. This is part of the whole thing. This is what we used to be able to do and have fun with. But it was all good natured. So we're trying to pull that off here.
Yeah, that's what this show is about. Come on. I mean, these guys, and look, they're stuck in a certain mentality that has in a certain period of time that has moved way beyond them. They're trying to claw back the good old days, right? And that's why she's pulling out like the Wall Street Journal from like decades ago. Who cares?
I'm
Who
showing this
cares?
again. The headline on the Wall Street Journal, a conservative paper, U.S. economy extends growth streak. Can you please set the record straight and talk about why Trump will not be good for the economy and why we should not be fooled
This
by
ought to
him,
be good.
please?
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the number of people in this country. There's 335 million people in this country. Less than 4 million people make $400,000 or more. For everybody else, the other 330 million people, Kamala Harris has been very, very specific that your tax rate will stay the same. And for 100 million people, your tax rate will go down. So for just about every single human in this country, she's better from a tax perspective.
Okay, hold on a second. Now, what Mark Cuban is saying right now is because Kamala Harris told us she'd lower taxes, of course, does not have a track record of doing so and wants to spend a lot more money on other pet projects, she's going to lower your taxes and she's not going to raise them. The fact is, this guy does not. No, I'm sorry. This guy knows how the economy works. He is just telling people that how it doesn't work, basically.
Does he know yet that he's the fall guy? Does he know that all this recordings of him basically spreading lies, we're going to be running again if Kamala Harris wins? We're going to be running these lines for eternity for how he's been lying to the American public. This is like, he should be better media trained than this.
Oh, it doesn't matter because he's Mark Cuban. He's kind of like Donnie Deutsch. Remember Donnie Deutsch, who used to be Trump's pal, and then he just went absolutely off the deep end.
Where did he go? Like Anthony Scaramucci, right? He's one of those characters.
The Mooch. I get the Mooch. He and Trump had a falling out, but the Mooch has a mind of his own. Donnie Deutsch was all about hating Trump. The Mooch, Scaramucci, went on to start his own firm. He does his thing. I get it. People aren't always going to agree with their boss or Donald Trump. So he has his own mind. I respect that. But Cuban is running out of. Cuban doesn't believe half the stuff he's saying right now. He knows all of this is untrue. But it's just this anti-Trump thing that he has and his friends that he goes to. He wants to be part of those cocktail parties. And you had Donnie Deutsch, who just went absolutely off this rocker. You don't see him on television anymore because he's a nutcase. Nobody wants to hear from him, and he'll destroy. And any words from people like that will destroy whatever is left of Harris's campaign.
I think Mark Cuban's doing a pretty good job right now.
As we're going down the home stretch, though, Angie, I still say it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens after the election, no matter who wins, but at least there'll be a lot to roast.
Oh yeah, either candidate has always supplies us with the best materials, don't they?
Yes.
And yeah. I mean, look, the election season doesn't necessarily end on November 5th. I mean, this is going to keep going on and on and on. So stay tuned for the next episode, Prime Roasters. We're so happy to have you on, and do send us your comments. We'll happily roast things that you provide as well. We're going to have a look at everything, and do like and subscribe our show. We're growing. So just thank you very, very much for kind of hanging with us, especially in the early days of the show.